Hi everyone and welcome back. Today we're having a look at another market trend and we're going to discuss whether co-working spaces are making a comeback in India in 2021. We're going to have a look at the history of this co-working segment in India, the impact of the pandemic on these businesses, the recent upswing in activity that we've been seeing, and finally what the future for this industry looks like and some themes to watch out for in the next few years. Co-working spaces in India have been a growing market for quite some time. A Savills report outlines how over the past decade, legacy offices with traditional layouts have changed to become more agile and allow for a more collaborative environment. Over time, as this market has grown, flexible workspaces have gained a lot of traction with corporate tenants as well. All of these factors have led to co-working gaining a growing market share, going from 5% in 2016-17 to 15% before the pandemic in 2019. This robust market has also attracted global players such as WeWork, who has a huge presence in India with over 35 centers covering 60,000 desks. Further, a lot of new domestic players such as Office, Oyo Workspaces, and Innovate have also covered a lot of ground in this market. Now let's talk about the impact of the pandemic on this market segment. Without a doubt, the co-working space segment was dealt a huge blow by the pandemic. But with companies looking to realign in a post-COVID world and adopt more flexible and hybrid working models, we could see co-working making a comeback in 2021. Despite this setback, according to a report from Savills, the co-working space segment will make up 10% of all leasing activity in 2021 and 2022. On the supply side, co-working space providers are looking to be even more agile and flexible to meet the needs of the hour. Recently, the IWG group, which is behind the Regis group of co-working spaces, conducted a deal with Japanese group Nippon, allowing them access to desks at any of their more than 3,300 locations rather than locking them down to one specific location. WeWork has recently come up with a work near home option, allowing the employees of a tenant to work at any of the centers that are closest to them. Basically, businesses are being given a carte blanche option and are being allowed to leverage a network of office hubs across different localities and cities to position their teams as they see fit. Options like this allows for a shorter commute for employees as well as a change of environment for those who have been working from home for the past year. Other smaller players like 91 Springboard, who have traditionally catered to more SMEs and startups, are also finding an uptick in demand again. Their founder goes on to state that this demand is coming more from SMEs who have also changed their preferences from longer 3 to 5 year leases towards 2-year leases. Further, he also suggests that these companies are now looking for integrated solutions when it comes to furniture and fit out instead of paying for those upfront to reduce their capital expenditure. On the demand side, a survey conducted amongst corporates by Savills shows their changing preferences as well. In this survey, 60% of office occupiers stated that they see the trend of work from home or work from anywhere lasting for the near to medium term. Further, 61% of occupiers stated that they would look for shorter lock-in periods and rent assessment cycles as businesses become more dynamic in the future. With 93% of employees suggesting that they would want a commute of less than an hour, developers are foreseeing a high concentration of demand in suburbs and the peripheral areas of cities for workspaces. Another important point brought up in this survey is force majeure clauses. These clauses are enacted when any emergency or disaster prevents the tenant from being able to pay their rent. In this survey, 79% of developers recognize that they will have to meticulously analyze the force majeure clauses in their contract to prevent problems that arose earlier in the pandemic. Given these changes in preferences, it is no surprise to see an upswing in this market segment in 2021. Co-working spaces are supposed to make up 15% of the overall office leasing activity this year, which would bring it back to 2019 levels. Further, the compounded annual growth rate for this segment between the period of 2015 to 2022 is supposed to be 29%. This upswing is also being reflected in the occupancy rates of these co-working operators. Some reports suggest that 70 to 75% of corporates will be back working in offices this year, with 40 to 45% of them looking at flexible workspaces and co-working in some form or the other. Given all the changes in preferences, the growth in this segment is set to continue. Now let's talk about where this segment could be headed in the future and some themes that we are likely to witness because of all this disruption taking place. A major theme here could be consolidation with larger co-working spaces with financial backing that are able to bear the brunt of the pandemic and pivot towards catering to large organizations. These larger operations are the only ones with a network of centers across cities that they can provide to these large corporates which are looking for some sort of a hybrid working model. The former CEO of JLL has stated that while there are over 400 companies in this space right now, we could see this reduce all the way down to 20. The CEO of Office, another large player, has agreed with this assertion, stating that the pure co-working model players, which cater more to SMEs, startups, and even individual freelance workers, are the ones that will suffer. Another theme that we could see play out due to the comeback of co-working is near-term pressure on under-construction commercial properties. Reports suggest that while completed let-out office spaces may not be impacted much by the resurgence of co-working, under construction absorption for commercial spaces will see an effect. This is likely to increase vacancies up to 19.3% by March 2023. Further, the IT and IT services sector, which makes up to 40% of the office leasing activity in India, is the one that is pushing ahead with hybrid working models the most. This could see one of the largest customers of commercial real estate in India pivoting towards a more flexible and hybrid model. Even as vaccinations increase across the country and people slowly get back to working from offices, we can see that the work from home or work from anywhere trend seems to be here for a while, at least in some capacity. Alright everyone, thank you for listening, and I hope that this video clearly outlined the reasons for the resurgence of co-working spaces in Indian real estate in 2021. As always, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content, and do let me know what you think in the comments below. See you next week, and thank you.